Your home is one of your biggest investments in a lifetime that you make. And so having the interior is reflective of how much you've spent, the time and energy you've invested into purchasing a home in a certain neighborhood, the research that you've done to figure out where you want to live. It's just as important that that is embodied in your home as well. You spend so much time in your space, so it's really important, of course, to make sure that all of the finishes and materials there are reflective of your personality, that you feel comfortable in there, that your family, has a really great place to relax in the evening, that you've got a great space to work in. Again, you spend a lot of time indoors, and making sure that the interiors are really reflective of your personality is super important. I don't know that we've been overly influenced by trends. I certainly feel like there are little nuggets that are sprinkled in the house to sort of create this feeling that it's current. We really want it to feel timeless. So instead of focusing too much and bringing that into the palettes, we would bring that in furniture and accessories. But for example, in Ella, we brought in sort of like a textured tile, something that felt very current, something that we'd sort of seen showing up on Pinterest. So for the Rustic Revival palette and the Warm Summer palette, we went back to the concept of wabi-sabi, and the idea was to express this sort of yin and yang of wabi-sabi, this balance that's necessary in nature and interiors. So in that way, we took a cool palette and countered that with a much warmer palette for warm summer. Again, bringing this sort of yin and yang, this contrast together into sort of one concept. The contemporary farmhouse aesthetic was sort of our approach to merging together two different styles. So taking a modern home that has, white walls and these sort of crisp, cooler colors, and really merging that together with a farmhouse that, you'd think more of rough sawn timbers and really authentic raw materials, and essentially bringing those together to create a home that felt super current. The Clear Skies palette essentially pays homage to the prairies. So clean lines, geometric, and then there's this contrast in it that sort of plays off of, again, the mid-century roots. So bringing in more organic materials, slightly warmer. We also showcased that in the furniture selected for the house. So again, there was this balance between the outdoors and the prairies contrasted against this really clean contemporary palette. What I like about a highly contrasted palette is all of the things that you can do in between. So if you imagine the sort of gradient of these crisp white colors against these really dark tones in a home, you have the opportunity to add in so many things in between. You can add in pops of color, you can add in mid-tones, and so it's a little bit more flexible. I think for some people it can be a little bit more scary. They might be looking for something a little bit softer, but I do think that when you see a home finished that way, it just provides, again, this opportunity to do something interesting in between.